1 year in Atmos. Next week, it will have been 1 year since I set this room up and tuned and started working in Atmos. So was it a financial failure or a success? Let's talk about it.
Tell me, baby, what's a man? Oh, what's a man?
Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. Now, let's just get some things out of the way real quick. If you are a hater of Atmos, don't watch the video. We don't need you here. This is for people who are interested in the format or who are just interested in following my journey. If you're just going to jump down in the comments and be like, Atmos sucks and no one's going to install 15 speakers in their house, we don't need you here. So see you later. Are they gone? Okay, now that it's just us people that are actually interested in this, let's get into it. So in this video, I want to go over the gear, what regrets I have, anything that I might do differently, how my experience has been mixing in Atmos for a year, some things that I've learned, and is it a financial success? Am I losing money having done this, or is it working? Okay, let's start with the gear. I have a whole series of videos going over the install, the tuning, choosing the rig, building this room into what it is now. There's a whole series of videos, and I will link them all in the description down below. If you missed it for some reason, go check those out. It was a really fun series. The build of this room was like the most in-depth video I've ever done. So for the gear, all Focal speakers. It's a 9.1.4 rig. I'm running Trio 11s for LCR, and I'm running the new Solo 6s for all of the surrounds and the Sub 12s for subwoofers. I'm running the Avid Matrix Studio for my interface for monitoring. All the room tuning is happening in the Avid Matrix Studio, and I'm running it via an HDX card and Thunderbolt, which I did a video explaining why. And I'm running the Avid HD I/O for all my hardware inserts. Now I was gonna go back Pro Tools HD anyway, regardless of whether or not I did Atmos. I was just waiting for like the next version of this room to do that. So I'm not really including the HDX rig in this, in the monetary investment of this, the HDX card and the HD I/O, because neither of those are necessary in order to do Atmos, and I was gonna buy them whether I went Atmos or not. Now I have to say that looking back on it from a year later, hindsight's always 20/20, the installation was intense. It was definitely, it was an intense installation, and I gotta give a huge shout out to my buddy Josh Eastock for helping me install this and tune it. I'll put his Instagram down below. If you're interested in having him tune your room, go hit him up. He did an absolutely incredible job on this room, and I cannot recommend him enough. I hope he's okay with me saying that, but I'll put his Instagram down below.
Colt Caparoon 081324, and there it is.
0813.
0813. Happy birthday!
Woo! Also have to give a massive shout out to Gavin Haverstick from Haverstick Designs for designing the room, and those two working together to get this done and to make this room sound the way it sounds is just, it was a mind-blowing experience for me, honestly. Like, I'm not exaggerating. They're not paying me to say that. Like, it was a crazy experience to have Gavin work up the plans, measure the room, and just know exactly what to do, the bass traps, the wall, the diffusion, the everything, and then tell us exactly where to put the speakers, and then for Josh to come in and tune it and cross the rig over exactly the way that he did. And there was almost zero guesswork. It was like it went from a room with pretty horrible low end to room with incredible low end. And those who have been able to sit here and hear it in person, that's kind of the reaction that I always get, is they're like, wow, the low end in here is insane. Huge shout out to Gavin and Josh. I'll put a link to Haverstick Designs YouTube channel down below as well. Do I wish I would have done anything differently? There is just one situation where these cables here that I'm still not in love with. These may get buried under, because the garage is below this room. These may get buried in the floor eventually. I don't know if I'll ever actually do that. That still bugs me. Outside of that, no. I don't think I would have done anything any differently. The installation is super clean. It looks super pro. I will say that having speakers surrounding me in the room definitely makes me more conscious of where I can put people, where I put singers or musicians. It definitely, like when I'm setting up to film just like this, it definitely, it's a workaround a little bit, but I've done my best to set it up so that way it's at least intrusive as possible, and it's been fine. So how many songs have I done? I have done nearly 50 mixes, 50 Atmos mixes in the past 1 year, which let me preface this all by saying that my life after my health issues has taken it's taken a bit of a turn, and I'm no longer focused on how many songs I can get out in a year, and I'm much more focused on taking care of myself physically, mentally, spending time with my family. So I think I could have very easily doubled that number if I was pushing as hard as I did 4 or 5 years ago. This past year has been very much about hanging out with family, taking a couple trips, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, spending time on the bike, like just really taking care of me. So I want to preface this, I could have done way more if I wanted to. But I did 50 Atmos mix, or about 50 Atmos mixes in the past year. And the one thing that most of those are not out yet, by the way, because it always takes months and months for songs to come out. The one thing that I did not anticipate at all was how much extra stereo work I would get because I was capable of doing Atmos. I would say about a third of the Atmos mixes that I've done, maybe a quarter to a third of them, I was hired to do the stereo and the Atmos mix because I'm capable of doing Atmos. I don't know that I would have even gotten the stereo mixes if I didn't have the Atmos. And I didn't expect that like at all. I just assumed that I would get some Atmos mixes and I would continue doing my stereo work. I did not expect the increase in stereo clients because I can do the stereo and the Atmos. So that was a good surprise. That was a pleasant surprise. Now I do want to say that it is the most fun I've ever had making music. And I mean ever. Even if I didn't make a dime, now let me say that I'm very privileged to say this, even if I didn't make a dime off of actually working in the format, I probably would have done it again. Just because it's the most fun I've ever had making music. There's nothing that I enjoy more about making music than mixing in Atmos, and it feels like what I was meant to do musically. I know that might sound crazy to some of you, but it feels like I'm finally 21, 22 years later, I'm finally doing what I'm meant to do with my life, which is crazy. Okay, before we get on to the rest, there's a hat right there that I'm getting ready to come out with. I got some merch in the works. I'm launching a whole clothing company. So if you want notified of when that stuff goes live, if you want notified of when the new signature hardware drops go live, because we're working on some new hardware as well. If you want notified of any sort of stuff like that, including some music business news, hit the top link in the description below and sign up for the email list. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, some things that I have learned in the past year before we get on to the financial side of it. One, I think most, not all, but most of my Atmos mixes sound better in headphones than my stereo mixes. I feel like I have achieved a place where it's just better. There's more space, there's more impact, there's more dynamics, there's better low end. It's just better in every single way. And I feel like the thing that I can attribute that to is one, mixing, which I've done a whole video on my Atmos workflow, mixing the stereo, and then inside that same mix session, converting it to Atmos. I think that is a huge benefit in getting these mixes to be just incredible, in my opinion. Are they the best mixes on planet Earth? No, I don't consider myself the best mixer on planet Earth. However, I'm very proud of the work. And there's pretty much one thing that I can attribute that to. And that is, especially when I'm doing Atmos mixes for someone else that has done the stereo mix, and that is being heavy-handed, and I mean pretty heavy-handed, in effing the tracks that someone else mixed for stereo. And I've given this example before. You take this crazy acoustic guitar and you record it with incredible microphones through incredible preamps, and then when you mix that guitar in stereo, for most of the kind of music that I work on anyway, you have to carve it up so that way it doesn't step on the vocal in stereo and it just becomes a shaker that lives over here. But in Atmos, we don't have to do that. So when I get sent those tracks where that acoustic guitar, for instance, has been just carved all to hell to not step on the vocal, I have to bring the life back into it. I saturate it, compress it, and EQ it fairly heavily to get it to sound like a wonderful, full, actual acoustic guitar again. And then it gets panned over here and it doesn't actually step on the vocal. Now, this one of the things that I really love about when I'm doing the stereo mix and the Atmos mix is I actually am just in the same session. So I just undo a bunch of that EQ that I did originally to make it fit in stereo. and then it sounds incredible. Now, I think that that is one of the biggest reasons why I'm so happy with my Atmos mixes, is just the naturalness of them. The size of them is just, it's just better than what I can do in stereo. Now, there are links in the description down below for every piece of gear in this room, all the Atmos gear, all the hardware that I use, the racks that I use, like literally everything. And most of those links go to Sweetwater. So anytime you guys need any piece of musical gear whatsoever, you can jump on any one of my videos, click on any one of the links in the description down below. And once you're on the site, you can purchase anything that you need that you were gonna buy anyway. When you do that, it goes a really, really long ways to help support this channel and help me keep making videos like this. So thank you so much to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video and just about all of my videos. And thank you, really, thank you to you guys for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything. It really helps and means a lot. Okay, let's get on to the financial side of Atmos. Is this a failure, or was it a success? Now, I've discussed this in previous videos that whenever you're making an investment into your business, you're not gonna pay it off instantly. And how long it takes to pay off depends on how much money you make, and how long is acceptable for it to take to pay off is totally up to you. I think very, very few investments in a business venture or investments into your setup, very few of them get paid off in a calendar year. So to me, personally, somewhere between 1 year and 3 years to pay everything off is where I consider it worth it. You may consider it 6 months to be worth it. Maybe it can be 5 years for it to be worth it to you. This is literally just up to us individually. For me, any investment, any big investment that I make, building this room, acoustic treatment, when we built this house, when I've built studios in the past, when I invest in gear, when I put an Atmos rig in, for me personally, it's somewhere between 1 and 3 years that I like to have it paid for. I need to bring enough revenue in to have paid for the investment itself. And for me personally, that's what makes it worth it. It's okay if you feel differently about it, but that's how I feel. So with the songs that I've worked on and the extra stereo work that I've gotten, because of this, in 1 year, I have come just about halfway to covering the cost of this Atmos rig, just from Atmos work and just from the extra stereo work. So 1 year, halfway. This next year, I'm gonna push it a lot harder because this past year, I was just really kind of chilling and taking care of myself. Next year, I'm gonna push it even harder. So I think in about 1.5 years, this rig will have paid for itself. And again, we're talking just from mixing in stereo that I got because I can do Atmos and because of the Atmos mixes that I've actually done. This is not all the productions. This is not all just the stereo work. This is not all the mastering that I do all the time anyway. None of that is included. Just the work that I've gotten because I have the Atmos rig. I think in about 1.5 years, it will have paid for itself. And I am just about the halfway point of it paying for itself right now. So is that worth it? That's up to you. It depends on how much you would be interested in putting into a rig. It depends on how much work you get hired to do. It depends on what your schedule looks like. Are you willing for it to get paid off in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Are you just trying to do it for the hobby and for the love of it and for the fun of it? I can't tell you whether or not it's actually worth it. All I can tell you is that for me, it was 100% worth it. And I would do it again, even if I made way less money at it. Now I realize, again, I'm in a privileged position to be able to afford that because of the career that I have. Your experience may differ. So I'm not telling anybody to put Atmos in. I'm not telling anybody you should or shouldn't, or what you should and shouldn't buy. Just filling you in like I said that I would on my progress. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit the links in the description, sign up for the email list, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.